Okay, so it's been about 10 years since I've Olympic weightlift. If probably a little bit more. Definitely since 2015. Um, just haven't had the space, haven't had the drive really to do it. Been focused on other things. Um, but I've always stayed kind of watching either like actual competitions, certainly content creators, um, and the other night, even though I watch those all the time, I've never like had this drive to get back into it. But the other night, I happened across this video essentially saying like why you should Olympic weightlift, and it didn't say anything I didn't know. Um, it wasn't like groundbreaking, but it hit me just right, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should like fiddle around with this again, just see what it feels like. It's been a long time, so some of you may be familiar with Zach Tellender. Um, I've watched his stuff. I watch almost all his videos. And so when I knew I wanted to, because this is the very next day, essentially, from watching that video. So as soon as I knew I wanted to get back into it, I was like, well, I'll watch his tutorial. I know he has multiple. I was like, I'll just watch his most recent tutorial on a how-to for snatch, clean, and jerk, and just kind of work through whatever he suggests. And so he has this sequence. You start with the muscle snatch, then you go to a muscle snatch with a drop under the bar, and then you transition to this essentially a high hang snatch, like no contact. You don't move the bar down your leg, but then drop under it. Was doing all these for essentially 3 to 5 reps, just as I felt comfortable. Then I think the next one is contact drill. So this is about getting the bar off the hips, making the bar rattle, really starting to transition to the arms and hands and driving that bar up. And then we move on to transitioning that contact to an actual snatch. So, like going under the bar. I was pleasantly surprised with how this felt. Um, I think that a lot was like muscle memory coming back. Thankfully, I always had mobility. It wasn't a big issue for me ever. And I've maintained it through other stuff. I've always maintained my ability to squat deep, tried to maintain shoulder mobility and stuff like that. So I think that's a big issue, especially for a lot of people getting back into it. So thankfully, didn't have to deal with that. Here, same thing, but now you go below the knee. Again, focusing on slow, fast. Um, well, as fast as I can go, which is still going to be slow on all these, but not too bad. I didn't think. And then on the next bit, what I do um, is I add in a couple of blocks to kind of approximate the height of the bumper plates, like where the bar would be. Still starting from the top, though. You'll see me pick it up. Yeah. Start from the top and then do kind of a touch and go. Still not focused on going super fast off the touch, maintaining positions as best I can. And this is everything I did. So I filmed the whole thing, so you will see me fail later on. Um, but his whole point is, keep going forward as you can in a sequence, in the drills, until something feels off, and then maybe go backwards and work back up to that sticking point. So that's what I did. But in most of it, I was able to just kind of work straight through. And then from the touch and go with the bar, I think I add just a little bit of weight here. I My goal going into this was like working through the sequence, and I was like, man, if I can just do a snatch from the floor with some bumper plates, that'd be cool. And the lightest bumper plates I have are tens. So that'd be 40 kilos. I was like, man, if I could do that, that's probably pretty good, having not touched anything. Um, and even then, I wasn't going to get too beat up if it felt super awkward, and I kind of bailed on this early. Uh, but it certainly felt better than I thought it would. So after these, so these are my 5 kilo plates. I felt comfortable to move to the 10 kilo plates, and back then I was significantly weaker, um, so that's probably why I had um, certainly low expectations going into this. But here, do a touch and go with the 40, which felt okay. It's not super pretty or fast or anything like that, but it's looking like a snatch. So he talks about like pretend there's glass under the barbell, just so you maintain your position and your rigidity. So that's what I was doing here. I hit three. That's cool. And I'm thinking like going for well, the next one you'll see is when I attempt it from the floor, and you'll notice that I'm staring at the ground. So I think that that's um, part of why what happens happens. So then I try again. Little reset. Again, though, I keep my eyes kind of on the ground facing forward. And then, zoop, nope, not happening. And so, based on the sequence, it's like, okay, well, I'll work backwards a little bit. Um, I did attempt a full, and then as soon as that didn't feel great, which you'll see, um, I revert to a touch and go. Okay, so again, forward. So I was like, okay, let's back up a little bit. Let's do a touch and go. Kind of get those systems feeling right, which it did. So then it's like, okay, let's try this once more. Super slow until the turnover. Boom. That one felt better. And here on out is me just hitting singles with progressively more weight. I just went up by 5 kilos each time. Uh, but I started looking, and I might, you know, once I try cleans, see how they feel, clean and jerks. I'm not sure when. Sometime later this week, I'll play around with them using his same sequence for that kind of stuff. Um, I may try like a little, like incorporate a little beginner Olympic weightlifting program, all by feel, like nothing super rigid, nothing super crazy. Um, it's all just like easy complexes, one or two movements, some squatting. You do that 3 times a week, I think. I found one from Catalyst Athletics, Greg Everett, who I used to, follow his blog and website a lot, have his book. So um, maybe something like that. See if I can incorporate that in. I'd still be squatting, which I want to do, adding some faster pulls, complexes, and then attempting to build up. So 60 here used to be a big mental thing. I remember when I would work out, if I could hit 60 and it felt fairly good, I was going to have a good day. Um, I think it's because it's, when you get to essentially the 20 kilo plates or the 45s, So I hit that and that was huge. I was like, man, did not expect that, but just kept going. Um, for reference, my best ever, I think, is 92 and a half kilos. Again, I was way weaker, so I was a lot more efficient in hitting that back then. But to hit what I hit next, which is 70 kilos, I was very surprised. It's not the prettiest or fastest or anything like that, but I was I was happy with it. And I kind of stopped there. Uh, so we'll see. Maybe I'll keep with it for a little while.